But Riley here again for another idea to inspire ideas, where I am really stretching the concept of my ideas. Because I did not make a single one of these up. I'm only appropriating them. It's another trilogy of ideas, connected with a similar theme, this one taken from the Annals of History, where I will be giving one person, one event, and one perspective on how to view history. One of these days I would really like to see a biopic of the awesome female pirate of the Chinese seas, Ching. For those of you who don't know, which is admittedly mostly Westerners, she started out as a prostitute, married a sailing captain, became his second in command, and then took over his entire fleet after he passed away. And the entire crew just accepted that. She was ruthless enough to take out most of the Chinese Navy, and smart enough to get away with it with no punishment, eventually dying of old age. But as far as my research has taken me, there has never been a full movie about her life. Not even in the Chinese market. Which, fair enough, is kind of problematic. A few conditions for this. One, obviously some Chinese people working on the movie, whether in writing or acting or production design. Well, obviously acting. If not straight up directing, but you are my audience, it is whoever steps up to the plate. Secondly, I want the film to actually dive into Chinese sexism and patriarchy. Like when she gets promoted to fleet captain, how likely are the pirates to fight against that? When she's beating the military, how do they feel about being emasculated by a woman? Because for most films I see based in different cultures, they're still focused on the American system of patriarchy. For example, female sultans or sultanas were actually a thing. But don't tell the live-action Jasmine that. I personally do not know the specific social structure of China. I mean, I don't even know how to address her. Do I call her Ching or Shih or Miss Shih? Because I think the family name comes first or not. Should I call her Mistress Ching? There's a lot of issues that make me feel like a rude American. And I'm not even American. Moving on, for the event of history, I want to look at the development of mental health treatments. My wife is a fan of the TV series Call the Midwife. And by extension, so am I. In season 5 there was a subplot for the prominent doctor of the series, where he was dealing with the consequences of the drug thalidomide. It was mainly used to cure morning sickness, but had a horrible effect on the fetus, where the limbs weren't fully developed. So the series focused on the doctor's distress of being the one prescribing the drug. And I wanted to take that mentality and apply it to a more prominently distressing treatment, shock therapy. The assumption that mental health can be cured by electricity would definitely have an emotional effect on the doctors who actually tried to help people. Once they were told, no, you're the ones making things worse. I don't fully know how shock treatment was phased out. That'd be your research. But I'd want you to focus on 2 doctors specifically. One who actually cares, and one who kinda enjoys the torture. It wouldn't be like a big court case story about getting the therapy illegalized. Is shock therapy illegal? I don't know. Holding massive consequences for everyone. It'd be a more personal conflict between 2 professionals at the one hospital, with the more evil doctor admitting that he just doesn't care that it's not helping people. He wants to continue, and he would be fully aware of this decision, proving that the sane villain is a lot scarier than any of the insane people in that hospital. To preface my final suggestion, allow me to go on a bit of a rant here. Biopics are too positive. Ignoring the more obvious examples of problematic movies, these celebrities who are the centre of the universe because they're so magnificently genius, and the only people who can't see that are the villains. Yeah, no, that's not how it works. I would actually prefer a biopic that is from the perspective of, well, I wouldn't say one of the villains, but someone who can see through the bullcrap, where the celebrity is not the center of the universe, but it's their egotism that everyone is kind of forced to revolve around them except our main character, who tries to cut through it. I kind of like and simultaneously dislike that our greatest heroes may have actually just been the greatest bullcrap artists of their era. And we probably should see more of that just to prepare for future outings. I've got a list of possible candidates for a movie like this. First one is Howard Thurston, the rival magician of Harry Houdini, who is actually more popular than Houdini within the magician community, but certainly not to the masses. He's the one we don't remember. Choose any member of P.T. Barnum's Circus and Freak Show collection. Credit to Jenny Nicholson. You can do Charlotte Rainiger and her rivalry with Walt Disney, or the Fleischer Brothers and their rivalry with Walt Disney, or the Nine Old Men and their rivalry working for Walt Disney. I may have issues with Walt Disney. I would say don't bother with P.L. Travers, though. That rivalry has already been rewritten by Disney. This video is to help you look at history a bit differently. In this day and age, with all our knowledge and perspective, recorded history is just as open to interpretation as any work of fiction. Like, even with these videos, I don't always film them in the order I intend to release them. And if I ever get round to getting my hair cut, you'll probably notice. And lately there's about a month on average between recording and releasing, so it's open to change. And because of that, I always have to be careful not to reference a previous recording that you haven't even seen yet. The differences between past and present, and maybe even future, all being open to perception, those are the theories I wanted to get across and see in other people's work. So much of the past has already been forgotten. We don't get to choose now what the future will remember about us. And history only matters when we remember it. Thanks for watching. This is my verbal declaration that I will not sue anyone for using the previous outline to create their own work, regardless of how much fame or money you might get from it. I'm definitely not the kind of artist who thinks I can own a concept. However, I would like to see what comes out of this video just for comparison and curiosity. If you do make something or find an existing piece that's similar, please let me know through Twitter or Facebook or email, and I'll happily check it out. And if you want to see the ideas I am working on for myself, please visit my Patreon page for samples and previews, no payment required. Happy creating, Bard Riley out! And if I ever get my hair cut, you'll probably notice that.